Have you ever wanted something so badly that you'd do anything to make it real? Not something hard to get. I mean something impossible. A person you've lost. A mistake you'd do anything to undo. A wish you'd trade your soul for. If you thought it might work. Most people think there's no way to change fate. But there are places in the world where the rules are weaker, where something ancient listens. And if you're desperate enough, you might hear about a place called the Wish Church. They say it grants you exactly what you ask for. One wish, one price. And if you're lucky, you'll only lose what you are willing to give. There are stories you stumble on that don't feel like stories. They feel like warnings disguised as temptations. I first heard about the Wish Church from a stranger in an old online forum for urban explorers, one of those dead corners of the internet where people share coordinates, blurry photos, and whispers about cursed places. The thread was simple, a ritual that grants anything you want. One wish, one price. The replies were half jokes, half deleted, but the last post stayed burned into my mind. Don't look for it. It finds you. At first I thought it was creepypasta nonsense, until the night my sister died. She'd been gone for 3 years when I started digging into the story again. Not because I believed it, but because grief does strange things. You start looking for loopholes in reality. You start wanting impossible things. That's how it begins for everyone who finds the church. The first thing you learn is that you can't search for it. You have to make yourself available to it. The directions are vague drive to the edge of town, far enough that the streetlights die behind you and your radio hisses with static. There's no GPS pin, no map. But if you keep driving, you'll know when you're close because the world goes quiet. No wind, no crickets. Not even the hum of your engine seems real anymore. That's when the trees start to bend overhead, forming an archway. That's your doorway. The rules say you have to turn off your headlights and leave your car keys inside. If you don't, you'll drive in circles until sunrise, wasting gas and sanity. And you have to go alone, always alone. I thought that part was dramatic, until I read the story of a guy who brought his girlfriend for moral support. They never even got out of the car. He said she vanished mid-sentence, gone between one blink and the next. The driver's seat was still warm. He called the cops, rambling about the silent road and a doorway made of trees. They arrested him for her disappearance. You're supposed to bring a real lantern, not a phone, not a flashlight, something with a flame. The church is old, and it hates technology. People who've tried using phones didn't keep their hands long enough to warn others. When you cross the archway, you don't light the lantern right away. You wait until the trees swallow you completely. If you light it too soon, the forest will turn on you. And if there's no path, when the light comes on, you're already lost. Leave immediately. Don't look back. If you stay, you'll disappear like the others, taken somewhere far away. But if you're lucky, you'll see the path. Thin winding, almost hidden under the roots. The air will feel different there, heavier, colder. They say the trees remember everyone who's walked this trail. Some of them even used to be people. If you stare too long at their bark, you might see the shape of a face. You'll hear whispers too. Voices just out of range, sometimes laughing, sometimes begging. You ignore them. Because the moment you step off the path, it decides you don't belong. After 10 minutes that feel like an hour, you'll see it. A stone building, half buried in moss windows, shattered door, cracked open like a mouth. That's the church. It's older than the forest, older than the town, maybe older than the country. No one knows who built it, but the rules say that once you see it, you can't turn back. The forest won't let you leave. You'll want to take a photo proof you've made it. Don't. The church doesn't like being seen. Someone once tried. They found his camera. Months later, screen melted. The lens fused. The police never found him. Inside, it's colder. The air tastes metallic, like old blood and stone. When you step through the door, it shuts behind you gently, like it's being polite. It's quiet. Not just no sound quiet, the kind that presses into your skull. Even your thoughts feel muffled. You'll see the pews to your left and right. Don't look at them. Whatever sits there isn't waiting for prayer. Head straight to the altar. There's a white candle and a stone bowl sitting on top. That's where you make your offering. The offering has to matter. It doesn't want money. It wants meaning. I brought my sister's necklace, the last thing she ever wore. When you set it down, the candle lights itself. No spark, no match, just a flicker from nothing. The flame grows stronger as the silence deepens. That's when you close your eyes. You don't open them until you're told. You'll feel movement, something circling behind you, air shifting, as if someone's breathing against your neck. Don't look. Someone named Trevor once did. They found his car abandoned. Inside were his eyes neatly placed on the driver's seat. You count the minutes in your head, depending on what you want. Small wishes, 5 minutes. Money or fame, 15. Life from death, 22 minutes and 13 seconds, exactly. Too early, and it knows you're impatient. Too late, and it knows you're greedy. When your time's up, you open your eyes and reach into the bowl. There's always salt, inside coarse, black and ancient. You use it to draw a circle around yourself and the altar. While you work, you'll hear whispers again. Louder now. They'll say your name. They'll remind you of everyone you've ever hurt. When you're done, you whisper the names of 3 people you've wronged. It doesn't matter how emotionally, physically doesn't care. The church wants honesty. If you lie, it knows. When you finish, the candle turns black, and you'll feel it. The breath behind you, cold, slow, steady. A voice not male, not female, will ask, "What do you seek?" You have to be specific. No poetry, no metaphors. It grants exactly what you say. I asked for her back. I didn't think about what that meant. Once your wish is spoken, you leave. But you don't run. You walk backward, eyes on the candle, 3 steps at a time. If you trip, if you break the salt circle, it will notice. Sometimes you'll hear voices calling your name, people you love, begging for help. Ignore them. They're not real. A man once turned around because he heard his mother calling. He found her half-formed, still clawing her way out of death. He never made it out. When you reach the door, open it gently. Don't slam it. They don't like loud noises. Outside, the air feels heavier, thicker. The trees are watching again, their branches twitching like fingers. You put on your disguise, a mask, a hood, anything to make you someone else. Because the forest remembers your face. And then you walk. No matter what you hear behind you, footsteps, laughter, whispers, you keep moving. Don't look back. You'll feel it following you. It stops when you stop. It breathes when you breathe. It wants you to acknowledge it. But if you reach your car before it does, you're safe. Lock the doors, start the engine, drive. Don't check the rearview mirror until you see the first street light. If you do, you'll see it sitting in the back seat. They say if you follow every step perfectly, your wish comes true. They're right. She came back 2 days later. Same voice, same face. But her eyes didn't focus right. Sometimes she'd stare at nothing and smile, whispering like she was still hearing prayers. I told myself she just needed time. But one night, I woke up and found her standing in the hallway, facing the corner, whispering in a language I'd never heard. When I called her name, she turned slow, too slow, and smiled. Then she asked, "Do you remember the silence?" That was when I knew I hadn't brought her back. I'd brought something else through wearing her shape. I moved cities after that. I tried to forget. But sometimes, when I wake in the middle of the night, my house goes completely silent. No wind, no hum of electricity, no breath. And when I step into the hallway, the floor changes. Cold stone under my feet. That same silence pressing on my ears. Once I looked up and saw the church's door at the end of the hall. Open. Waiting. I slammed my eyes shut and whispered her name until the sound came back. When I opened them again, I was home. That was 3 years ago. I haven't heard from her since. But sometimes in the dark, I smell candle wax, and I know the church is still watching. It always keeps its promises, but it never forgets its debt. If you ever find yourself driving down an empty road at night and everything suddenly goes silent, turn around. Don't go looking for the wish church, because once it finds you, it never lets go. If you ever find yourself driving at night far beyond the last streetlight, and suddenly the world goes quiet, no wind, no sound, not even your own heartbeat, turn around. Don't follow the silence. Don't look for the church, because once it finds you, it never lets go. There are people who've tried dreamers, mourners, believers. Some got their wish. Most didn't come back at all. Maybe you think you'd be smarter. Maybe you'd follow the rules perfectly. Maybe you'd get what you want. Just remember, every miracle has a cost, and some debts are collected. Long after you think you've escaped, if your hallway ever feels too quiet, if you smell candle wax where there shouldn't be any, don't open your eyes. The church keeps its promises, and it's always waiting for someone new.